All right, so today we have interpreting data distribution. So today is a little kind of backwardsy, so just be really careful. So we have left skew, symmetrical, and right skew of data. With left skew, this is because you have a left tail. So you have a long tail and then it humps up towards the right. So the left tail makes it a left skew. And then if you have a box plot, your left tail is really long until you get to the median, which is a little bit more towards the right side. Symmetrical, everything's symmetrical. Everything's even down the middle, right? If I put my finger or my pen here on the middle, it looks pretty much the same on both sides. And the same thing happens with the box plot, is where the median is a little bit, is more towards the middle. And then a right skew is because you have a right tail. So you have a big hump on the left side, but your tail is more towards the right. And the same thing with a box plot. Your median is a little bit towards the left. That's the middle of the box plot. But you have a long right tail, okay? So let's go through. We're gonna do the first 6 on the front together. So number 1 here. Here's my data, and I'm gonna kind of draw a little bit of a hump here. All right, so following the hump that I kind of just drew a little bit offhand, ew, that's gross. This is looking like a left skew and it's got a left tail. So we're gonna say left skew because it's got a left kind of tail. Same thing over here. This is kind of looking a little bit like it kind of goes up like this. So this, once again, is a left skew because it's got that longer left tail. All right, it's got a longer left tail. The hump isn't until the right side. So left skew is when you have a left tail. All right, this one, it looks like our median here, this median is a little bit towards the right. So we have a long right tail. So we got a right skew because we have a right tail. So it's looking a little bit more like this guy right here. Tickets here, looking at this one. What do you guys think number 4 is gonna be a little bit more like? All right, this one's looking a little bit more symmetrical when I kind of draw the hump that goes with it. All right, let's look at number 5 here. What do you guys think number 5 is kind of looking like? All right, this one's looking like a right skew because it's got a right tail. The biggest problem is not knowing your lefts and rights. So look, the left makes the L, the right does not. That is literally how Ms. Rawle figures this out every single time. And when she doesn't, as you can see, I make boo-boos and then I have to fix my mistakes. So make sure you know your lefts and rights. I struggle with this, always have. Okay, and then what do you guys think number 6 is? Okay, so in this one, this is going to be, so our median is towards the left side, so that means we have a long right tail. So that means we're gonna have a right skew because we got a long right tail, okay? So let's see how this side is longer than if between here and here, oops. So we have a longer right tail than we do compared to the left side. So that's why it's a right skew. So these are kind of tricky, so be careful, all right? Now we're gonna move to the next page altogether, and this is about box plots. So we gotta be able to interpret a lot of information from box plots. So between the minimum and quartile 1 is 25% of the data, and quartile 1 is exactly 25% of the data, okay? The median is 50% of the data exactly, and anything below the median makes 50%, and anything above the median makes 50%, because this entire thing, as you guys can see, is 4 chunks of 25%, and 4 chunks of 25% make up 100%. So this all equals 100% altogether. The median, between the median and quartile 3 is another 25%. Quartile 3 is exactly 75%. And if you ask for anything below that, that is 75%. Anything above that, well, the only above that is 25%, okay? There's gonna be questions that ask you this. Between quartile 3 and the maximum is another chunk of 25%. So if you look at anything below the maximum, it's 100%. All right, so now we're gonna answer question number 1. You're gonna use this reference page a lot. See how I rewrote this so I could read it a little better? I might even say to rewrite that top one so you can read it a little better. The accompanying box and whisker plot represents the cost in dollars of 12 pairs of Crocs, okay? which cost is quartile 3? So right here is quartile 3, and that cost, let me drop down, is what's after 25? 26. So $26. Letter B, what is the range for the cost of Crocs? Well, remember, range would be your maximum minus your minimum. So my maximum is right here, and that number is 29. My minimum is this line of my box of whisker spot, and that is 7. So 29 minus 7 gives me 22. That's the range of the cost of Crocs. What is the median? Okay, my median is the middle line of my box. And that number is, ooh, that's in between 20 and 21. So that's going to be like 20.50. Okay, so $20.50. It's halfway between. Remember, we're talking about money, so we got to be careful. Letter D, 75, ooh, okay, percent problem. Ooh, 75% of Crocs cost more than what number? Okay, so I need 75% to cost more. All right. So if I'm asking about more, I want to start on this side and go in that direction. Okay. If they say, hey, what it costs less than, you want to start on this side and go in that direction. All right. This is your guy. This is going to be your best friend. These little love notes I wrote on the side here, this is going to help you out a little bit too. So if you're talking about less, start on this side and count whatever percent you need, and where you stop is where your answer is. If you're talking about more, count backwards how many more you need, and wherever you stop, that's where your quartile you're looking at. All right, this is good notes right here. I love this. So we need 75% more. So here's 25%, here's another 25%, and here's another 25%. So all this makes 75. So it needs to cost more than our quartile 1. Okay, so 25 plus 25 plus 25 is 75, so it costs more than quartile 1. And our quartile 1 is, oh, it's in between here. It looks like $14.50. Okay, so you got to be careful. You got to read carefully. Got to be 75% more. So right from quartile 1, that's 25 plus 25 plus 25. That's 75, and that's 75% more than that 14. Letter E, 25% of Crocs cost less than what number? Okay, so 25% is less than. So we're doing less. So I only need 25%. So here's just one chunk. So where did we stop at? Ah, we stopped at quartile 1 again. So that means they cost less, 25% of our data costs less than that quartile 1. All right, what percent is above 1450? Okay, so 1450 is my quartile 1. All right, so remember this is your Q1. And if you're talking about what percent is above, so how many chunks do we have? We have 1 chunk, 2 chunks, 3 chunks. So we have 3 chunks of 25%. So how much does that make altogether? That makes 75%. So you're gonna see all types of questions like this. So if you want more questions to be answered, ask your teacher about the rest of the ones that are after this. So like this 75%, once again, more than 75%, so 25%, 50%, 75%. So it costs more than quartile 1. 25% costs less. So start over here, 25% is 1. This is where I stop, and that's how I got that quartile 1. All right, so there you go. Enjoy your day. Math is great.